HooHooHooRobin.
I'm getting a 6 tattoo because I used to be in Team 6. I ain't supposed to talk about it.
Wait. You were a Navy SEAL Team 6?
Yeah.
Chip? Really?
Yes, I was.
You're not supposed to talk about it.
Not, you know.
What was if you are, what was the real name of the team?
Huh?
See, it's not really Team 6. It's just like what they give the press. What was the real name?
Team 5. That's the real name. But
that's confusing.
Team 6 is the one for the press.
Did you ever cap anybody?
Yeah.
Who?
Bunch of people. Political dissidents.
Dissidents.
I was over there. I saw the shit.
You were in the shit?
Yeah. Do some missions.
I think Chip's lying again.
I hurt my knee. Seals, but we all swimming in with balls in our noses or something. Place was cracking up.
Tooting horns and stuff.
Yeah, everybody's tooting a horn. It makes you flippers. Get out of here.
Chip.
We have more audio of an Obama-Osama mistake.
Yeah.
This time around.
Oh, who did this?
Mr. Glenn Beck.
You have to give President Obama credit. He made the call. Although, I don't think, hey, yeah, let's kill Obama is all that tough, Bin Laden is all that tough of a call, but I'm not the one in that seat, you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, everybody's screwing up.
I was just saying before the break. Before he came back. I understand you got to politicize this shit. I understand that. But one fucking day, and both sides did it. And I'm not just pointing at Fox and Glenn Beck. Everybody was doing it on TV yesterday. It's like, can't we just all fucking just kind of relax and celebrate for one fucking day?
Everybody makes it about, like, I know Alex Jones did his thing, and look, that's his gig.
But wait a day or two is what I'm saying.
But the self-centeredness of it, it's like, do you have to make it about you? Does everything that happens have to somehow get you some attention for yourself? It's fucking embarrassing. Shut up.
Yeah, just like, you don't want to politicize it, but you can by, waiting a few days and then going to ground zero and giving a speech about it. Is that necessary, or is that posturing during a campaign?
I think it's kind of cool, though.
Nah, any president, honestly, across the board, I would expect that from. Some things are just symbolic.
I loved when Bush was there right after it happened.
Yeah,
it was
totally
an amazing moment, and now having Obama down there,
of course it is. But
so we'll see how it plays out Thursday.
How about the Pentagon? Just go there.
Yeah.
Closer to your house. Don't fuck up traffic here.
You just don't want the traffic problem, right?
Yeah.
That didn't have the symbolic effect anyway, because it's seen as a military building. It's like, it sucked, but you didn't lose that many people. There's no one jumping out the fucking 90th floor.
Right.
I was on the 30th floor of a building yesterday, looking out, just thinking, it was 3 times the height of this. People were leaping.
Yeah, suck. At least you get to live 3 times longer.
Yeah, but you shit your pants 3 times longer, too. It's not a pleasant ride down.
No. I gotta agree with you there.
You lose more hair before you hit the ground.
Oh, please.
It's just horrible. Alex Jones, sure, why not?
I believe he was frozen.
I believe he was frozen.
Really?
Something.
Yeah, Gordon's fish stick?
He's got a big audience. He's got a big following, this Alex Jones, and he's exposing the Bin Laden hoax.
Well, the Bin Laden hoax already.
It's never real. Can't you just be happy for the country?
Nothing's ever real.
Does anything ever really just fucking happen?
No.
That's why...
Look, I don't believe everything that is told to me.
Me
certainly.
neither.
But, come on. Sometimes things are just what they are.
Sometimes, yeah, things are
Maybe
real.
they exaggerate some of the points of how this whole thing went down, maybe. But in the end, they fucking killed Osama a couple days ago.
If your
Simple as that.
If your radio show's about conspiracy theories, then everything has to be a conspiracy.
Everything!
Right. Doesn't anybody see the connection between radio people making it about them?
There's a conspiracy about conspiracy shows.
Do you think
it's true?
A show like Alex Jones, even just getting coffee, there's some kind of conspiracy?
Yeah, there's something fluoride in the water.
Does he just come into work and relax, but is everything a conspiracy?
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Does anybody tell you the truth?
It's all lies.
No, he knows people that tell him the truth. He's got all these connections.
Yeah, the big guy that came to him and asked him to spin it, and then I'm like, who was it? They didn't want to name him.
They can't name names.
Right.
They can never name names.
No, of course not. Everybody else is supposed to name names except them when they give you something like some under the radar thing that happened, which boosters their image and their case and the strength of their point. But when you say name that person, they refuse to.
And that was the best part of Jesse Ventura's conspiracy show, which is now, off the air, was he would have people on, so we would have to have their name, and if you Googled them, you found out they were like nobody. They had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. Fringe players, right?
If that.
Very fringe.
If that.
That Troy got me to watch that special where he supposedly revealed the JFK assassin. That horse shit on a bridge with this guy. Oh, it was fucking terrible.
It was terrible.
Terrible.
Why don't we start with Alex Jones?
Yeah.
Alex announces to the world, Jimmy, the Bin Laden killing is a hoax.
Of course he does.
He was already dead.
President Obama addressed the nation late Sunday evening to say that just hours before, Osama bin Laden had been killed in the middle of a major populated city in a palace compound. Yeah. My friends, this is a complete and total hoax, and we predicted with total precision, with inside sources, going back more than 8 years ago, exactly what would happen.
Can you pause that?
It's on record.
Who are your inside sources? I can't name them.
Inside sources.
Wait, you have people with knowledge of the cover-up of the murder of bin Laden or whatever it is 8 years ago. And you're not going to name them because you have journalistic integrity? Come on, man.
I understand, you got your livelihood on the line, so you don't want to name names. But when it comes to the biggest fucking story that everyone's talking about in the world, it's time to name names. And what do you have to lose at this point?
When your whole job is to expose these evil conspiracies because you think there's a new world order or whatever, how do you not? This is not just entertainment value. This is the new world order. You're trying to change things.
Yeah, take away that power. Name names.
But no, if they tell other people shit, you'll name their names. But if somebody comes to you and tells you something, all of a sudden you're in the know, so you're not going to name names? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Sick of shit. Boo.
Exactly what would happen. It's on record that Steve Pachinik, who worked as the top deputy to Henry Kissinger, and who also is a high-level Council on Foreign Relations member.
Kissinger.
I stand corrected.
Kissinger.
He named a name, Steve Pachinik.
Yeah.
Who worked with Kissinger.
Kissinger.
Okay.
How fucking long ago is this?
Was interviewed back in April of 2002 and said that bin Laden was dead and that was on ice and that in the future he would be used at a politically expedient time to bolster the government in the eyes of the people.
Please, can you pause that? Can I ask, why is that guy more credible than the 10,000 people that say he's not dead?
Right.
Why is the one guy that worked for Kissinger credible? Why don't you look at that guy and go, what an ass?
You just take his word for it, but everybody else and all the other information, you don't weigh that against one guy that worked for Henry Kissinger.
Yeah. And why now to bring out Osama's body?
It's not even close to the election.
It's not even close to the election. Obviously, Obama's having problems right now in the polls. So, all right, so let's say it boosts the polls now. That doesn't mean shit 18 months from now. When you do it a few months out?
Bush would have done it during his presidency because he knew he was a hated. For his legacy, he would have done it. Of course he would have done it.
Right. And that would have guaranteed...
on ice. Really?
No, but that's what they did. That's what they did. They saved him for the third year or the second and a half year of a Democratic presidency, which is not going well.
Yeah.
Now let's do it right before the correspondents' dinner. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's really funny. What's his name? Did great with that, huh?
He was great. Seth Meyers was great.
Seth Meyers, right. That stupid Donald Trump. I said it to you before the show. I loved your tweets yesterday, Jimmy. Fucking Donald Trump's at this thing where it's supposed to be loosey-goosey, a bunch of laughs, and this guy can't laugh at himself with his pursed lips and everything else.
I can't... I used to be very, he was okay. This last few months has really made me really dislike him because... Seth was funny, man.
Absolutely.
He talked like he had marbles in his mouth. You fucking fat-faced pursy-lipped idiot. Stop trying to be intimidating with your dumb stare. Stop it. I don't work for you. You're not making everyone nervous.
Yeah.
What a baby that guy is.
Yeah, the shots of him in the crowd were unbelievable.
What a baby.
Why go to that event if you didn't feel like laughing and having a good time?
I'll tell you why.
Stay home.
He tried to play in the real political arena, and he was dismissed as he should have been during a real speech.
Yeah.
When Obama referenced him as a sideshow and a carnival barker. Fucking embarrassing. Stop it. Stop with that dumb, intense look on your face.
Alex Jones continues. Madeline Albright, we remember her.
Oh, of course.
And more unnamed sources say Bin Laden was already dead.
Then Madeline Albright in 2003, on December 17th, went on Fox News program and said that he was dead and on ice, and that the Bush administration was thinking about rolling him out during the 2004 election if they needed it. But then because of that coverage, the inside baseball was they didn't. Now, even before she went public, a year and a half after I first broke this news, I had a White House source here in Austin, Texas. You know, a lot of folks live here in Austin, but we're also in the Bush administration because they came from Texas. Bush had just been governor here. And I was told by an extremely high-level White House source this information. Separately, I then confirmed through another White House source here in Austin through a separate party.
Why would people continue to talk to Alex Jones?
They wouldn't.
Thank you, Jimmy.
By the way, I confirmed.
Why?
I actually confirmed through a White House source that that those guys were trying to steer him on the wrong track because they weren't happy with Bush. I confirmed that through another White House source, because there's a lot of them that also come to New York, because maybe they're from Texas too, but they also come to New York. So I confirmed through a White House source that the guys he's talking about were just trying to mislead him to hurt Bush.
I have a comment from a White House source. There it is. And I have a comment for that.
That's kind of funny. Why not?
White House horse.
Alex Jones.
White House horse. What's something? It's like, yeah, this is a comment from a White House sheep. What does the White House dolphin say?
Yeah, he's probably going in. Get out of here. I'm going to flip her out on you or something.
That's what he said.
What's that? I thought he was saying chip.
Alex Jones says the government lies. Man. No one believes Osama was buried at sea.
No one does, huh?
No one believes that.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
There's the government lying about WMDs and our destroyers being attacked to get us into Vietnam. You know this history of major hoaxes being run. But notice when all this came out. Then I'll go through some anomalies. Just the tip of the iceberg. Okay. This all came out right at the time that Obama's approval rating was dropping like a rock, an all-time low this far into a president's administration, as the dollar's dropping, as support for Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, and the drone attacks in Pakistan was imploding, right as the Pakistanis were threatening to kick the U.S. out of Pakistan.
Please, approval rating for Bush about the war was much lower than it is for Obama with the war. People are not happy, but they're not nearly as annoyed at him. You don't see Libya being protested by people.
But you heard him say why they didn't roll him out for Bush. Because Madeline Albright had gone on some Fox News channel and given up the whole story about how he was on ice.
Sure.
So where's that audio?
Whoever they...
Where is that audio?
Yeah, can we prove... he can prove that by just playing... Why wouldn't... As he's talking about the Madeline Albright, we do radio, obviously, so we know how this game works. So you're saying Madeline Albright went on TV and
we looked that up, Danny,
and
I'm sure
exposed
it's on
all
Fox
that. So as a radio host, why wouldn't you play that audio right there?
Absolutely.
Why would you not play it there? And did she talk in vagary or something, and that's what he took away from it? As a radio host, you play the audio right there.
Of course you do. It strengthens your cause, and it's more interesting, and it makes what you're saying sound much more legit.
Yeah, he's not a lazy radio guy. Of course you play it at that point. Because now we're going to search it out, and we'll play it.
We're threatening to kick the U.S. out of Pakistan and to kick their drones out. Right as this happens, there's this big propaganda victory, and what do? They take the body and throw it in the ocean, they say. Do you really believe that? No one is buying that. I've been listening to talk radio last night, this morning, even conservative stations that want to buy into this propaganda. No one is buying that.
No I absolutely believe it, and I think it was a very fucking smart move.
Smartest move you can make.
And I'm sure video will be released. I don't know, if you're going to be able to see Osama's face or anything. He's probably going to be wrapped up and all that, right?
I don't know.
Or maybe it's a long-form video where they kind of show some of the stuff that went on the ship before they dumped his body.
These conspiracy guys are so fucking wrapped up in their own themselves. The self-centeredness of it, it's always got to be about them. Never once does anything play out. I understand that they're right about some stuff, but nothing is ever what it's ever. Yeah. They kept the body on ice.
And you know how this stuff works. They only release a little bit of stuff at a time. So you're going to get the death photo, and you're certainly going to get more videos.
Won't matter. They'll find a reason not.
No, I understand that. But he's basically saying, look, this is. It sounds a little crazier now. Before, sure, we get the videos and the pictures.
Yeah.
But that will be released.
Did you find something? That's from C-SPAN. Because all I see is in 2003, former U.S. Clinton Administrator Secretary of State Madeline Albright told Fox News analyst Morton Conrack she suspected Bush knew the whereabouts of Osama bin Laden and was waiting for the most politically expedient moment to announce his capture. Now that's, regardless if she even said that or not, I don't know. Because people are questioning now, why would Albright, a sane woman, say something crazy like that? But nothing about him being on ice.
But where's the audio? Why is that audio not up?
David's listening to something right now. Yeah, he's going to find out.
That's her explaining why she looks the way she looks. She's less than 400 years old.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if a big event like that, if you could time it, to help yourself out, you would. I get it.
There's no way you're...
But you're not... but he's not on ice.
This is what, by the way, people forget. All of this shit, like the presidents are keeping... Where was all of this amazing presidential power during Watergate when a fucking security guard brought down that little dumb thing from those rented security guards ended the presidency of the United States? Where?
Yeah.
You bring up a great point. And last night I was watching all the coverage. I was all over the place. And one of the stations had Colin Powell on. And they basically said, Colin Powell.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking powerful guy,
Chairman
right?
of the Joint Chiefs.
So, like, how did you find out about Osama bin Laden? You know what his answer was? My wife told me because she heard it on the news.
On the news.
That's Colin Powell. You would assume there's still some kind of network in place where you might tell Colin Powell what just went down. But he, on TV last night, said, oh, no, my wife heard it on the news and she called me. That was amazing to me. Yeah. Which goes back to your point. You just assume that it's this big and powerful thing, and sometimes it's just what it is. Colin Powell had to find out from his wife that they got Osama bin Laden because she heard it on the news.
Who's hiding bin Laden, frozen on ice for years? Who the fuck is doing that for any reason? Yeah. Especially a couple years ago when there was way more outrage about us being in Iraq and Afghanistan than there is right now. It's just, what he's saying is just not true there. And do you understand the Nixon thing? The president had to resign his office because they could not control that little... And information was not passed back then the way it is right now. Mm-hmm. And that spun out of control. Bill Clinton almost lost his presidency over getting his dick sucked. Yeah. They couldn't shut up a fucking fat girl who took a load on the dress.
Right.
The most powerful guy on the planet could not shut up her or her fucking fat friend Linda Tripp.
Yeah, why aren't they found dead somewhere or disappeared?
They can. The president's murder, JFK. Oh, that's easy to cover up. Bin Laden on ice, they can cover that up. Fat chick sucks his dick.
Yeah,
why don't know what to do,
boss?
Yeah, why allow her to live? God, you're right. Stupid intern. Are you kidding me? If all this shit goes down like some of these conspiracy guys think, she would have been long gone.
Look at what's happening to
that fucking ugly Linda Tripp would have been long gone.
Of course she would have. Or in England, who's the guy?
It would have been some kind of hiking accident. I'm thinking a little pusheroo.
Would have gotten rid of her somehow.
Of course.
Well, you don't think that when Colin Powell was in the UN saying that they had uranium, that was definitely uranium? Would it turn out to be a good humor truck?
Yeah, they couldn't plant it. was only our guys there.
These guys drive me nuts because they only will talk about it one way. They never look at any evidence.
Do you find it fascinating that's how Colin Powell found out? It blew me away last night because he was...
He's not in this circle anymore.
No, I understand that, but you would just think he would be close enough where someone would give him... I mean, when a dumb radio thing happens, we get calls, right?
Yeah.
Because we're in the business. You think he's still kind of in the peripheral business, and it turns out, no.
They really clammed up on this one.
Huh?
They really clammed up on this.
Yeah, no.
9 times.
This is the same government that's constantly caught lying. But conveniently, his body is now out in the ocean somewhere, buried at sea. But it gets worse. Last night, as soon as this was announced, it was all over U.S. TV, British TV, European papers, fake photos. And as soon as I saw it, I sent text messages to Paul Watson and others and said,
hey, asshole,
it's the one Photoshop picture.
We all know it's fake. That didn't come from the government.
No. Somebody fakes a Photoshop.
What a fucking asshole.
And the media did go with it at one point, maybe, but they're assholes.
Yeah, they're idiots.
But something like that starts as, somebody blogs it.
Just somebody doing it, and everybody started passing around going, look, it's the picture.
And then quickly yesterday, a lot of places said that's a fake photo, Alex Jones. You know that. Oh, by the way, still being sent that picture today.
I know. People
I'm embarrassed
are
for everybody on Twitter still sending that around.
Posted, and they
as a picture of
like, hey, here
Osama
it is.
Bin Laden dead. Stop. You're embarrassing yourself.
I sent text messages to Paul Watson and others and said, look into this. This is the same fake Bin Laden dead photo that's photoshopped of him that we saw years ago. And so digging into this, we've learned they claim that they've killed him 9 separate times. But obviously, this is the big presidential announcement. They claim that they've killed...
Who's they, and where's the audio, if there's audio that exists?
They've said they thought they had him.
Right.
They also said that about Al Zarqawi when they were chasing him. They thought they had him when they got his laptop one time. They always think they have these guys. And the same way as Bush made that stupid announcement that the victory was won. They do make announcements they shouldn't make, which is even more embarrassing because then they have to take it back.
Right.
Because a new tape comes out.
Bush was embarrassed by that one. He admitted it.
Mission
accomplished, right?
What happened the 9 times?
Why didn't they just... Well, if they had 9 times, what was this all before they actually had him on ice?
Yeah, why didn't they roll them out, as you said?
Big presidential announcement. They claim that they've killed other al-Qaeda operatives over and over again. They're training you to accept this type of garbage.
Oh.
So we've got that information that they've killed him 9 times.
It's got to be hard, look, in fairness to Alex Jones, to fill 20 hours a week
of conspiracy radio.
Nothing but conspiracy.
Well, his mistake was making his show all about conspiracies instead of it being a part of his show, right?
Yeah. Because now there's more to talk about.
You make it a part of your show, then you could free yourself to talk about
you can talk about other shit.
Is black and white.
Yeah. But I just don't know why. Did Alex Jones, maybe he's been saying it all along, but has he been saying that Bin Laden is dead all along? And by the way, if Bin Laden was dead all along, well, Al-Qaeda knew that. So why would they allow these tapes to come out, or why wouldn't they just get a new leader? Like, I don't understand that. I just don't comprehend it.
Yeah.
All right.
Does anybody believe him on the phone? I mean, he's got a big following.
The phones are lit.
Right.
So we'll go to them after this last clip. Alex Jones exposes this PR move and fits some plugs in for his website.
Of course he does. Infowars.com. We got it.
Right as our country's being imploded, right as the world government's being announced, right as we go into the Depression, here's this PR move about, boy, we're walking a little taller today, got a spring in my step. It's all a wag the dog Hollywood production. My friends, we'll continue to cover all the other developments. There's so much more at Infowars.com on the live radio
There you
show.
go. Boom.
And the video feed at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Of course.
So continue to watch Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. We've got about 1 million people roughly hitting the site an hour right now. This is the biggest news story we've ever been involved in, obviously, as the whole world is looking for answers to what's happened. But that's just some of the points, and more anomalies are coming out. And they announced this on a Sunday night, so they dominate the news cycle this week. But already, people are not buying into it across the board. It is a fairy tale. If you believe this,
I do.
Then I got a bridge I'm wanting to sell you.
Good. Where?
Brooklyn.
How much?
And I've got some oceanful property in Arizona.
Oh, nice.
By the way,
for the news cycle, It didn't. If you announce this on a Friday, don't worry, it has legs.
That makes you sound smarter when you say news cycle. Here's the thing. So now he's saying the Depression, like in 2008, when the stock market was shitting the bed and banks were closing. Why wouldn't they fucking haul them out then? That's how you distract people. But they didn't. They didn't roll them out then.
No,
they roll them out now.
When General Motors was going bankrupt and needed government money and all that was going on.
And all the bankers, the conspiracy of bankers. Why didn't they roll them out then to take the focus on themselves?
When the Dow was under 10,000, when, how about then?
Why roll it out after Obama shows the birth certificate? Why not spread these two events out? Because the dumb birth certificate, I would imagine, helped Obama a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So why not spread that out? Why go 1-2 like that?
It's just, there's no reason to do it right now. You would do it. Why do you let all those Democrats get the shit kicked out of them in those midterm elections? You lose a big part of your power base. Why not do it right before those? So it'll look like, hey, the Democrats are strong on. Why would you do it now when it means nothing?
Yeah, keep them strong for the elections coming up. You're right.
Idiocy. But again, because the conspiracy thing is the entire show, they have to find a way to marry whatever is going on into what their thing is. The facts don't matter.
Hey, how's it going? Just to point more fact that conspiracy theories most of the time are bullshit. There's an interview with Bill Clinton. I really don't remember where it is, but it's online somewhere. I think it was like a Japanese college where he talked about how when he became president, something he wanted to see so badly was Area 51, and he insisted upon seeing it. And then, basically he found out that there was no aliens in Area 51. There was no secrets in Area 51.
Yes, there was Area 51. Area 51. You knew then, and you did nothing.
You had a spaceship, and you left it there. Baby David could fly it. You know nothing. There was gefilte fish on the plane.
Air Force One. Very nice.
Very nice. Judd.
Got someone on Twitter saying Cheney said yesterday on Fox News he learned about it in the newspaper yesterday morning.
Yeah,
just weird that those guys.
No, he didn't. He's so full of shit. That's where Cheney's lying, because Bush got a call from Obama.
So Bush would
Don't
call
tell me
Cheney right away, right?
Cheney didn't know.
Bush and Cheney not
maybe they think maybe Cheney
not
wasn't
on the best of terms.
Oh, really?
Yeah, probably didn't call him.
Maybe not.
Oh, really? They're not?
No.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, not on the best of terms.
I didn't know that. Hey, one of our guys believes this shit.
No, he doesn't.
Troy does.
Troy likes conspiracies, but I don't believe that Troy actually thinks that Bin Laden has been on ice.
Get Troy in here.
And I don't want Troy to adjust his shit because, we just beat up Alex Jones
I just think
for
it's
15
interesting.
minutes. I want to take on this thing.
All right. I like Troy.
Here comes Troy. Troy Quon.
Troy.
There it is.
Don't adjust your shit now. Okay? I want to hear your take on this thing. We should have had you in a soundproof booth so you didn't see hear the Alex Jones stuff, but...
Yeah, I mean, look, Alex Jones has his agenda just like everybody else, and, it just, the one thing that kind of bothers me is, personally, I want to see the body. I want to see it for myself.
I believe we're going to see it.
You mean have it lay in state somewhere so you could file by and look at it, or a picture?
Well, this guy orchestrated one of the greatest terrorist attacks on our soil.
Sure.
Yes.
And all of a sudden we care about he did this in the name of God. We
didn't care about his religious beliefs.
He did this in the name of God.
Right.
And now we're going to respect his beliefs?
I don't believe that either.
We use that to our advantage.
Yeah,
we said this earlier.
That's the lie.
That's the bullshit.
That's the bullshit, because then no one could question that. We did what was supposed to be done for his faith.
Do you think it would be nice to have his body laying around somewhere so that people can use it as some kind of a rally point for
a martyrdom thing, or a shrine? It would be a focal point. And people would go to it, and it was just, now he's in the wind. He's nowhere.
You ask anybody that's lost a loved one and has never been able to recover a body, it's probably the most frustrating thing that they don't have a place to go to, put flowers and kind of feel like they're closer with that person. It's a perfect thing for this government to have done.
Genius move.
Why wouldn't you guys drag the guy's body through the streets of New York?
No, you can't do that.
Well,
that's
because
good
then
for a
that
movie,
makes
but we don't do that, man.
That makes us
it's just convenient that it just It disappeared.
No, but
it's in the ocean.
Don't you
convenient.
think that
It's
the
great.
strategy of that is genius? Like, the government's not interested in posturing, but don't you think the genius of not giving a rally place? And if you take him alive, then all of a sudden, every fucking radical is pulling in hostages, demanding the Sheikh's
Saying,
release.
release
It's a
him.
no-win.
Or we
I
kill.
don't know, man. I look at it a little bit differently. You know, I think that people would like closure and like to see his body and what he did and send a message to every motherfucker that thinks about fucking with this country.
I think the government
I think they
understands
did.
that too, but it also realizes that that's a big risk.
They'll
to
release
do
the
that.
photo. They'll release the
They'll
photo.
release photos. They're going to release videos. I have no doubt. It's unfortunate that the news is playing it up like they're talking to some of the victims' families and like, well, my loved one didn't get a proper burial, so. You know, but that wasn't the government's intention.
Of
They were
course
using
not.
that to their advantage to make this whole fucking thing disappear.
Make him disappear.
And
He's
now,
gone.
He's gone, man.
And now-
That's a frustrating feeling for a lot of people.
And it takes something it takes something away from these radical clerics who they want to spin this some way, but they can't spin it negatively, like about certain, because the body, like, they know that Islamic law was quote unquote respected, so they can't say, where's his body?
Right.
We want his body, because they know that, hey, look, they buried him within 24 hours. That's what you guys want. And it kind of puts them in a place where they have nothing to say.
And we
about it.
wouldn't win the other way because people say, oh, wow, you don't respect our religion. You know, he should have been buried within 24 hours. So it's almost a no-win situation either way.
I hear you. It's just,
But with that said, they realize, wow, we could take advantage of this.
Emotionally, I agree with you. Would we love to see this
Oh, fuck
cocksucker
yeah.
dragged like Mussolini? But Hitler's body was never taken. We know Hitler's dead, but his body, where's Hitler's body?
Oh.
Burned up in a bunker.
No, he's dead now.
Argentina.
He's dead
well,
now.
they have a skull, don't
Old
they?
age.
Yeah.
I don't think they do, no.
I think they do. I think they
Do
have
they
a
have
skull
Hitler's
somewhere.
skull?
There's rumor that the Russians had it.
That's a
for
rumor,
quite
but
a
I'm saying
while,
it
and
hasn't been...
I don't know. It's always one of those things that people. Is
It's
it
a
true?
rumor.
Is it not true?
Well, just check for the mustache.
Yeah. Check his skull for
and see
mustache.
if the mustache.
Hitler.
There's Hitler.
See?
So he's alive and well.
He's hanging out.
Yeah,
that
just in a
guy.
cafe.
God, that guy looks like him.
Troy, what's your other issues here?
With what? With this? I mean, that's pretty much it. Look, I don't get too deep into what Alex. I like Alex Jones. I think he's great. I think he's entertaining. I have a problem believing anybody. I have a problem believing people that I associate with every single day. So let alone a government, let alone anybody else.
Is it odd? But is it so unbelievable that after almost 10 years, they, through intelligence, found out where the guy lived, landed a strike team in there, and killed him? I mean,
it's a little hard to believe because we're the greatest country in the world. You tell me it takes 10 years to find the guy?
Well, yeah.
But no, do you see what Troy said? And I know what you mean. But there is that thought process in people who are into conspiracies. Like, it's hard to imagine that this great safe place of ours can't catch this guy.
Yeah, we're
But
not
we
all
couldn't.
that amazing.
We couldn't.
With,
I mean,
with,
just
with
they can-
some things. We can close a deal really well.
They know where you are right now because of your phone. They know they know how to track everybody. They have
Do
every square inch.
So play it
of
on your
this
head.
earth
What happened?
Calculated.
Did we kill him 2 days ago?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, that's what.
I'm not guessing.
That's
I
what
believe in my soul we killed him 2 days ago.
That's
I'm
what
not
that's
guessing.
telling us.
I'm
So
not guessing.
we might as well believe it. If it helps you sleep
So
better
what do
at
you
night,
think?
I mean,
That he was
he's
frozen
dead.
for 10 years?
I have no idea, man.
But dude, he didn't have any those connections. You mean where they could trace you? He didn't have that stuff. He was smart. He's a smart dude. And he had fiercely loyal religious people around. These couriers would have died for him.
Right.
They didn't give him up for the money.
What if you see a video in the coming weeks of him actually being shot in the head in the compound?
Then I'll believe it.
Or would you? Or would you say that's a lookalike?
I mean, if it looks legit, you know. I mean, I would rather see that than just have that thing tell me, oh yeah, this is what happened.
Well, I understand that to a point, but what is it going to take for you to believe?
But what does it matter if I believe one way or the other? Do you know, like, what? It's really at the end of the day,
it matters
who
because
cares?
I think you represent a lot of people that think just like you. You're not like a lone wolf on this. There's a lot of people that don't believe we got it.
What is it about the conspiracy that gives you comfort? There's something about it, about the concept of it, that comforts you for some reason.
As I've told you before, I don't trust anybody. And there is an agenda with our government, and they're going to do whatever it takes, and they have the ability to create smoke and mirrors and have this happen and have that happen.
Really,
is
though?
it the truth? I don't know. I couldn't tell
Does
you.
the government really have the ability to do all that? There's too many individuals. They're not a Borg type collective. There's too many individuals that love talking. People love a good story. They
Right.
love talking. So how is secrets kept? They're not. Like Jimmy brought up Watergate earlier. I mean, that was just, fuck up, and then people opening their mouths, and then people want to save their own asses, and it snowballed into Tricky Dick giving the old peace sign and hopping on the helicopter and getting the fuck out of it.
You don't think we've learned from that? You don't think there's a pyramid, a hierarchy, and the top knows what's going on and gives the orders and tells everybody else below what's going on?
But he was the top.
How come they couldn't stop Lewinsky or Linda Tripp?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Fucking
And that's not that long ago,
dude.
Troy.
That's not that long ago, and the effect they had on the government was huge. Well, they allowed the fucking chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to humiliate himself and make the U.S. look terrible in the fucking UN. They couldn't control that. Like, when people look at all of these major things that happen, and the conspiracy guys never balance that and go, oh yeah, that type of shit does happen there too.
How about Iraq? Just fly into the middle of a barren desert that we control every inch of, fly in a few drums of fucking nerve gas, bury them in the desert somewhere, and then say, look what we found, complete justification for the war. Why not do that? If they're such liars and so good at cover-ups, why have to come back with the tail between legs going, wow, we found fucking nothing here. We look like idiots. When it would have been the easiest thing to say, we found nerve gas, here it is.
Yeah, then you look good in the eyes in front of the whole world. You probably do get a coalition of other countries to help you because they like, okay, at least the U.S. found it, so we don't look bad helping them.
And he was known to have used nerve
win.
gas against his own people, so it wouldn't have been out of the blue. It would have been something like people would have went, oh, wow, yeah.
But we didn't. We went, we told you couldn't find it.
Change the reason for the war, democracy.
I'm going to go with Troy for a second. Maybe Obama drags out Osama's frozen body now because he wasn't invited to the royal wedding.
Perfect. That's it. So
no one's talking about the royal wedding anymore because Obama was pissed.
Goes
he
away.
Didn't get the invite.
It's all about the.
Look, I don't believe everything I see on TV, Troy. Certainly.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think some of the details probably exaggerated. Certainly. And look, I believe we landed some choppers and fucking shot that motherfucker in the head.
I'm not trying to sell you guys on anything.
I completely believe that.
Everybody's entitled to believe whatever they want to believe. Whatever helps get you through the day, whatever helps get you through this life.
But it's not helping getting through life. It's
the bad guy, the boogeyman's dead. You know what I mean?
No, here's the thing. When you say whatever helps you sleep at night, it's not helping me sleep at night. It's just another thing that I heard. It's helping you sleep at night to think that you're so fucking up on this that you are a part of this elite group that knows, man. We're just sheep, and it doesn't help me sleep at night. I could give a shit. I sleep just fine, but for you, I'm saying to you, it helps you sleep at night thinking that you know something that all of us are too dumb to know.
I'm not saying that at all, and I'm not researching everything and telling you all these facts of this guy said this and this guy said that. I question what is being told to me, and I don't have to believe that.
Let me ask you this: why now? Let's say Osama was frozen. Mm-hmm. Why bring it out now?
I don't know. I mean, your guess is as good as mine.
But you live in that world, so you should research.
You want to know why? Because.
Why now? Because logically, it would seem like Jimmy had a couple options, or certainly closer to the election.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people are sort of not going to. How can I explain? It's not going to be as hot when it's close to the election as it is right now.
Yeah, I have so much going on in my own life. What does it matter if I research it, other than to, I mean, I'm so busy as it is, so. I don't need to add that to my life.
Don't you want to? That's the kind of you're kind of making my point for me in a roundabout way, is that conspiracy becomes this thing that people marry themselves to. Like when the Pentagon, I thought I saw loose change, whatever. I was like, hey, there's a couple of really good questions they raised, because they do raise good questions. Sure, I didn't have the knowledge to go against it, but just because I don't know it doesn't mean it's that way.
Right.
So I remember talking and saying, let's get those guys on and let's see what they have to say about this, because they raised a few questions in my mind about that fucking plane hitting the Pentagon. And then I listened to them. I listened to other people. I saw photos. Ant went through a brilliant thing about when they all the things that they got wrong. And it was like, you know what? I weighed both sides. the fucking loose change guys are full of shit. They're wrong. But I wasn't afraid to weigh both sides. Why are conspiracy guys afraid to like? Why go? It's a conspiracy. I don't know. I don't want to research. Well, like I did my homework on that, and I really did look at the other side, and I really did listen to them, and I just didn't buy what they said.
I want to clarify. I've never come out and said I was a conspiracy theorist. I just don't trust anybody. That's what I've said from the get-go.
Trust issues?
Yeah, extreme trust issues. I trust no one.
Why is that?
So
why? That's the bigger issue. Why? Who
know.
touched young Troy? Who was supposed to be a person in your life who was good? And just gave you a little fucking
supposed to protect you,
a little tug. Yeah, maybe a little tug.
No, I don't know. I mean,
who wiped your trust away?
I do love that Jimmy thinks every single person in this room was touched. He brings it up a lot.
Of course they have. Danny just said loose change.
Of course they have.
Loose change guys have had to edit and re-edit their movie due to new information. Of course they have. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, you have to mold it into the facts. You got to mold your conspiracy because the facts have come out. And please.
But I mean, you look at something like 9/11. Okay, cool. This is what they tell us has happened. Okay, fine. Black boxes. Where are they? They're gone. They just disappeared. But we found a passport. It's just those little things that you're like, oh, really? Like, how does that all make sense? You know?
You know, it makes sense. It's probably easier for a passport to survive
than black boxes that survive
than a black
everything else.
Nothing's ever had to.
Well, you wouldn't believe the black box easy because they would just, dude. If they could orchestrate what these people think that they've orchestrated, you think they couldn't fix the black box? It would prove their case.
They have air traffic control radio back and forth.
Tell me that doesn't make sense.
A black box. They found nothing. There was rubble and dust. So all that shit that just turned into desks, computers, chairs, bathrooms, everything turned into a fine dust. People, just dust. They didn't find shit there as far as, you know how much office equipment was in the World Trade Center? They didn't find any of it. It doesn't mean that someone secretly removed all the furniture the day before. It just means that so much energy was being expelled at that moment that everything turned to dust, including the plane, the black box,
except
the only
things
that lived. But you know what?
An explosion blew that out.
Let me tell you something. There was also a fuckload of paperwork from the World Trade Center that blew past my apartment in Brooklyn. Blew past my apartment. Paper would more readily survive because of its, it floats down slower. It got out of the building. So a passport coming out, I could see that.
An explosion. I actually have a piece of paper from the Trade Center.
A lot. There was a lot of it all over the place.
Yeah, that was from the 110th floor, whatever it was. And I saved it because an explosion, you have something in a bag. It happens.
The plane crashes into the building. The passport's probably in the guy's bag that's with him.
Sure.
Could have been. Front of the plane, flies out.
I mean, come on.
Who knows?
But see, that's just these are little things that I have a hard time putting it all together in my head.
But you take the mountain of evidence and ignore it for the one little anomaly, which any investigation will have, or any case will have anomalies. That's what. Not one case criminally or it just goes 100%. There's always weird little things that I can't explain that. But like a conspiracy theorist will take that little grain of salt and use it to somehow explain away a mountain of evidence in the other direction.
Right.
And that's why I can't buy. I find that, and I don't mean like you're not an honest guy, but I find that the idea of a lot of these conspiracies is based in something that's what's the word? Not selfish, but there's a self-motivation there. It's comforting them. It's doing something for them.
Getting back to Osama Bin Laden and Alex Jones, why didn't he play the audio of
Madeline Albright?
I can't answer that for Alex.
But you work in radio, obviously.
Yeah.
So if you have this evidence, why wouldn't you play for your listeners to really hammer your point home?
That would make sense.
Do you have it, Dan?
And also, really fast, too, there was another point by Alex Jones that I want to make clear. He says, and they did it on a Sunday to get the news cycle. No one was awake on the East Coast. Most of us were in bed.
Do you really think they need to announce it to get the news cycle? Of course.
Monday morning as everyone's getting waking up.
It's going to make the news no matter.
It makes the morning newspaper.
That's what it did. No one cares about the newspaper.
You know what?
Everyone reads the Drudge Report and Huffington Post. That's immediate.
They love these pictures, though.
Everyone was celebrating in the middle of the night. Kenny picks me up. I'm like, wow, I really thought, stupid me, because we work pretty close to Times Square. I'm thinking in my head, we might have a tough time getting in the building this morning. They're still celebrating. Guess what? There wasn't a soul in Times Square when we pulled up at 5:30. Not a soul. So if you're going to orchestrate this thing, wouldn't it be Monday morning? Now you got Times Square packed all day, Ground Zero packed all day.
I would think this is probably having that, but it's probably more important than having people hanging out in Times Square.
I'm just going with Alex Jones has said, perfect news cycle. It wasn't a perfect news cycle when the news hit at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night.
Yeah, but it was just in time enough to make the morning papers.
No, it wasn't.
No. It was on the papers yesterday.
It was. But
it was more of a pain in the ass. They had to call people back. As a matter of fact, I believe the Wall Street Journal didn't have it because they couldn't get back and redo their paper.
But dude, the news
Most
cycle?
papers were able to do it, you're right. But some papers were not.
But it's not
it wasn't perfect timing.
It's not 1965. Most people, everyone goes to the Drudge Report and the new papers now are they're a day behind on everything.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Like, it's not the old days, man. It's all immediate news on the internet.
I realized, we've been preparing for this radio show for many years by reading the newspapers. I realize I now just do it out of habit because I'm looking at stuff going, I already know this. I know this. Like I have ESP or something. I don't know. I'm like, I know all this stuff already. Why is it in today's paper? You're supposed to get new stuff.
News. That's why they call it new.
Right. Nothing's new anymore in newspapers.
New. It's old paper.
That's a good one.
Former Secretary of State Madeline Albright, we said it before, told Fox News analyst Morton Kondrak yesterday she suspects President Bush knows the whereabouts of Osama bin Laden and simply is waiting for the most politically expedient moment to announce his capture. Kondrak made the announcement about what Albright told him backstage before an appearance on another Fox show on Special Report with Brit Hume. So she never said it on the air. This is this guy saying what Madeline Albright said backstage.
Right.
And he's saying that she said it on a Fox News interview show?
Yes.
So maybe
there's no audio of it.
Right, there's no audio of it. So maybe either A, she believed it, or B, she says, like, oh, yeah, he's probably just waiting to, knows where he is, waiting to jump
got
on
him on ice, and he'll break him out when he needs.
After some further reading, it said that when she was asked about those statements that she had made, she said that she had made them, but she was clearly joking. Yet Morton Kondrak, or whatever his name is, claims that there was no sign of a smile on her face.
You ever see her face?
There's
no sign of anything there, but
no, that's who she's going to say it to.
You need moisture to smile.
Yes,
moisture's gone.
That's who she'd say it to for real. That guy from Fox who would talk about it. That's exactly how it would work.
But
brilliant, Alex.
But Alex takes that and lies.
Sure he does.
And says it on a Fox News program.
I
guess technically it was a Fox News program. She was getting ready to go on.
Because his fan base isn't going to research this. They're just going to repeat what he said to other people.
But why all of a sudden is this guy from Fox credible now? Now, why all of a sudden is Alex Jones saying that Fox is a credible source of news? I realize Fox is opinionated, but why all of a sudden when Fox is nothing but a propaganda machine to that guy, now, because she said something backstage and this guy repeated it, now all of a sudden Fox is the most credible place in the world. It's bullshit.
I could almost believe if Bush knew where Osama bin Laden was, he could use it to his advantage politically, almost. But there's also incredible risk if he fucking blows it.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden, Osama moves or what have you.
When you're when you're hunting the biggest enemy of the United States, you have military commanders to listen to. There is nobody you can sit down with and go, hey, look, I'm not doing well on the polls. These guys have soldiers being blown up. They don't give a fuck. These guys go way beyond the polls because, again, the conspiracy theorists want it both ways. They say that the president is kind of a puppet and being told, but then bin Laden is fucking captured and make it look like the president orchestrated it for his own good. So which is it?
And I believe they got a lot of video and pictures right now, but the administration's going to take their time and spread this out a little bit.
And they watched it.
Because they're going to take advantage of it now, yes. Why wouldn't you? Why would you put everything right up front? Like, here's everything, boom. Just release it a little piece today, a little piece tomorrow. Take the weekend off. We'll do a little more on Monday. I believe that shit.
Sure.
That they're going to take their time with it now.
But I guess Fox is all of a sudden, today, because Madeline Albright said something joking backstage to a guy who I'm sure that she would have confided in, because that's what you do. You confide with a guy on Fox backstage. Like Jesse Jackson when he said Hymietown to a reporter and couldn't believe the reporter, Milton, whatever his name was, went public with it. Like, do you think these people are that stupid that they're going to say something? She was having a moment with a guy joking around, and this motherfucker took it and made it about himself, and guess what she just said? The fuck out of here.
Alex also says the birth certificate's bullshit.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
What's his issue there?
Well, I mean, there's a whole list of reasons why he gives, I mean, starting with, he was said as black on the birth certificate. At that time, you would have said Negro or he said African, I believe, on the birth certificate, and at that time you would have said Negro. And there was a couple other things that...
But even, like, the Republicans have backed down from that issue.
This is just what he said. I don't know. I love hearing it when you guys mix it up with them. I really do.
Don't you think it's interesting? I'm not selective, like, in the way I process information. That's what bothers me about conspiracy guys. They're not straight shooters. They fucking don't process it the same on both sides. I don't discount everything that looks weird. They discount everything that doesn't go with what they want.
And thank you, Nathan Brimmer on Twitter. Wall Street Journal gave out free papers yesterday because they didn't have the fucking story. So, like, here's a free paper today. We fucked up. We didn't get it out in time.
And it's like no one gives a shit about the Post. I mean, the news cycle. There's 24-hour Fox, CNN, headline news are 24-hour news machines.
That is a great point, but also an Osama bin Laden dead thing, it goes way beyond a news cycle.
Of course it does.
We'll be talking about this for months.
But again, he had to explain why it got announced. Instead of going, this is when it happened and this is when they announced it. Again, when you're in that world, it's all about you, and somehow taking that little grain of fucking salt and fucking ignoring this mountain of evidence. So you have to make it about you, and that's how you explain it.
I want to get Roger on from Hartford.
Right. Welcome aboard, Roger.
Hartford. Roger, what's up?
Good morning, buddies.
Roger.
Hello.
So, Jimmy, do you think it's outside the realm of possibility that all the details of this are as they're being portrayed?
It depends. No, like one detail I think could have been betrayed differently, unless maybe the video will say. It wouldn't surprise me, like I said, if his own bodyguard had killed him for martyrdom because he didn't want to be captured alive. That was a fact I said immediately. Could have been not true. I don't know for a fact if it is or not.
Okay. So I guess the only point I had was I wasn't understanding your argument, for one, and secondly, I think it's a little curious, just slightly curious. Obama just started a re-campaign to fund his campaign exactly 10 days ago. We also knew that the Pakistani government was very close to finding this guy. They've had him pinned down since August. There were rolling blackouts in the area by the Pakistani government. Usually the tactic and the strategy you would use, like get indoors, that sort of thing. I think it was basically by accident, and they were forced into grabbing this guy and surfacing him because the Pakistani government or China was about to surface him.
Do you think I'm sorry, but to answer your question,
why wouldn't they have done it? It sounds like he was there for 3 years.
These people who have this power to conceal this stuff are going to allow it to be rolled out because a probably one-time Democratic president who has no... When you look at Bush's father ran the CIA at one point. You going to tell me that fucking Obama is more connected in the intelligence community than George Bush Jr.?
No. Absolutely not. What I'm volunteering is, I think that this happened purely by accident, and the fact that I think the local government in Pakistan was about to turn this guy over, and they knew they had to bring him out first. Like the United States government, the only people that would have any justification of bringing this guy dead would be the U.S. government, and I think it purely because it was at a bad time. It was after time TV. Everybody's already in bed. You don't get the same bang for the buck. The whole thing. I think it was completely by accident that this guy surfaced. I believe in my heart of hearts, anybody who says this guy was on ice for 3 years, that's just ridiculous.
But why is it
helpless on ice? Who does that?
Why is it easier for you to believe that than to believe that they followed this courier for 4 years? It was a tough one to get because these people were very religiously loyal to this guy. Like, I understand what you're saying, but why is it easier for you to buy that than, you know what? We were looking for one man who had fiercely loyal people in a God sense, not like Saddam.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
And they got him and they finally killed him. Like, why is that so hard to believe?
I think they were trying not just to get him, they were trying to get everybody. The only way to make people sleep at night was to get all of his people.
But they knew this compound was being built since 2005, and it's 8 times bigger than anything else in the area, and there's no suspicion of what's going on in there?
I bet you Pakistan knew.
Pakistan.
Absolutely
they knew.
fucking knew.
Yeah.
Pakistan, no.
Pakistan, no. Yeah. That part of a conspiracy, I believe, sir.
Gaddafi is smiling.
I believe that there were people in the fucking Pakistani intelligence community that knew. Absolutely.
Yeah, and let's go with this thing. So they use this to Obama's advantage, let's say, okay? Well, what if it comes out that Obama knew anything and this was all pre-planned? He's fucked.
Everyone is
So now
ruined.
you have to take that chance, too.
And you've never watched cold case files, dude? Some of those fucking cases are 10, 20, fucking 30 years old, and they find these motherfuckers, and it's like, well, what took them so long? Well, when you look at the backstory of how these guys were really evading the law, changing their names, not using phones, picking up whole entirely different lives, being sheltered by family and friends, you realize that's why it took so long. But then eventually, when they get him, you don't think, oh, did they really get fucking John Smith, the murderer guy? It's just because this is, Osama bin Laden, that it's a big deal, but it really is just a cold case file.
Yeah, I mean, I believe, I don't think they've had him the whole time. I do believe they've had him since August of 2010. And they've been waiting, not for an opportunity to, like, bolster Obama. They're waiting for an opportunity to grab all of his guys at once.
Oh, well, you know what, though? Don't look at who they already got. They already got Khalid Muhammad, who was number 3.
Yeah.
Al-Zawahiri, we don't know where he is. Fucking Al-Zarqawi is dead. The guy that took... Almost all of them are caught. If you look in the paper today, all of them are caught except for the Egyptian. And who's the other guy? Awlaki, who I think is in Yemen, and we already have fucking targeted.
Is he the American one?
Yeah. But there's who else are they going to get, bro? I mean, they've already got most of the major players in 9/11.
Yeah, agreed. I'm just I wasn't trying to blow holes through your comments. I was just trying to say it's possible. It's not outside the realm of possibility.
I don't think that's far-fetched, Roger, what you're saying.
Maybe, but most people in this country don't know who Al-Zawahiri is.
Right.
But they all know Bin Laden, and that was chopping the head. They said chopping the head off was a huge fucking
But
get.
Pakistan knew.
I bet you a lot of those guys did know.
Give me a break.
By the way, if they can do DNA in a few hours, which I believe they can, why are there fucking convicts fucking waiting for X amount of months and years to get DNA
priority?
But I mean, like, these are guys who are in jail and they don't fucking belong in jail. It's like
not important.
That's where tax dollars should go to. Fucking freeing innocent people.
I would like to know. Well,
that drives me nuts.
They do have that foundation that fucking
Barry Scheck. Yeah, I actually
runs.
like that.
But I would like to know the statistic between how many DNA tests are done and how many actually come back as innocent people, and how many come back as you fucking did it, asshole.
Sure.
And see if that's why they take so long. They prioritize it. If you're looking for a fucking rapist that's out on the loose, right? I would think that takes priority, especially a nice immediate case that's something that just happened.
Sure.
I think that would take priority over a guy that's in prison, that, especially if the statistics prove that most of the time they aren't innocent.
But the Innocent Project Innocence with Scheck, they review every case, and they only take ones where they believe that the person actually did not commit the crime, not a legal technicality, not illegal search and seizure shit, but where they really
even then I wonder what their record is.
I saw a show on it. I could not believe how many people were released after 18, 20 fucking years.
Yeah,
man.
that's crazy.
Be in prison in this, supposedly the freest country. In prison, you didn't do it.
When you think how many people are in prison,
fucking 3 years for DNA tests, it makes me sick. It's terrible.
And that's probably more legal wrangling and prosecutors that don't want to lose
prosecutors don't want to lose the stat.
Don't want to lose the stat. Yeah, believe me, I've been watching The Wire, so it's kind of interesting watching how some of the government officials and the police brass. And you watch it and just go, Jesus, you know that shit's happening.
You're on season 4?
They care more. Yeah, I'm just a few episodes into season 4.
There's some dirty shit that goes on.
Oh, it's crazy.
No surprise, but all right.
Thank you, sir.
Troy, and thanks to Troy for having questions.
Robin, Robin,